Like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end, each changing place with that which goes before. In sequent toil all forwards do contend. Nativity, once in the main of light, crawls to maturity, wherewith, being crowned, crooked eclipses gainst his glory fight. And time that gave doth now his gift confound. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth, and delves the parallels in beauty's brow, feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, and nothing stands but for his scythe to mow. And yet to times in hope my verse shall stand, praising thy worth despite his cruel hand. Alright, hello everyone. For my poetry project I did Shakespeare's 60th sonnet. It's on page 1207 if you want to look at it. It's a Shakespearean sonnet, which means it has 3 quatrains and then a rhyming couplet at the end, and the quatrains rhyme A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, and then G, G with the rhyming couplet. The sonnet in general is about how time is fleeting, but he feels like he can save it with his poetry. So the first quatrain is talking about how it's futile, how it's saying, it says, like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end, each changing place with that which goes before. In sequent toil all forwards do contend. And in line 4, which is in sequent toil all forwards do contend, he's talking about the resistance against time is futile because it goes quickly and it's all going towards the end point. And he uses some diction with that. He uses hasten and all forwards, which means everything is just going towards it. It wants to go quickly. It doesn't want to stop. And contend, which they translate as strive. So they're wanting to do this. This isn't, it's not only that they're going to do this, it's inevitable. It's that they are wanting to do this. So there really is no way to get around it. The second quatrain goes through the stages of age, and then it has the first volta. The first volta is, and time that gave doth now his gift confound. And before that, it goes through the stages of age. It says nativity, birth, and then it crawls to maturity. And then it says that once you're mature, with being crowned, once you've reached maturity, you've made it, that crooked eclipses against his glory fight. Now this is interesting because before in nativity, you enter once in the main of light, which main they translate as sea, but it's more of he's finally being born into this world, into the world of light. He's living in the light. And crooked eclipses, when I heard eclipse, I was thinking, okay, a solar eclipse, where the moon is blocking the sun, they're trying to block the light. So all these things, all these temptations are fighting against him to try and bring him down to who knows where, but they're trying to get rid of his purity, his beauty, just all his youthfulness and innocence. And so in 10, the volta changes that now time isn't just something that abstract that we're talking about. Time is capitalized here for the first time. It's saying that time is doing this. Time is being personified, saying that, oh, time was very gracious to give us this gift of you can age so that you can grow up in this world of light, but now I'm going to take that away because I want it back. So this is a really jealous and stuck-up time. The time is like, oh yeah, I'm good enough. I'll let you have this, but now I want it back because you're kind of getting a little bit too good and you're not really going with what I want you to do. So now is the third quatrain, which talks about what time does. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth and delves the parallels in beauty's brow. They're trying to take away the beauty, and it feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, which nature's truth is just the general beauty, the innocence, and everything. And they take pleasure, time takes pleasure in being able to tear this down because it feels like he has the sole power of being able to do this. And so time is taking pleasure in destroying all this beauty that it's allowed because it's very gracious to let it live this long. And then, and nothing stands before his scythe to mow. He's saying that, well, yes, I let you do this because I was very nice to let you do this, but really, I only did that so that I could have the pleasure of being able to say, oh, well, just kidding, this is mine now. You're mine. You don't get to live on your own. So these are all his playthings. Like, all the people are his playthings of just, you're just here so that I can mess with you at the end. And then I feel that the rhyming couplet is actually a second volta because it goes from first it's talking about how time is fleeting, and then it talks about how time as a person is really only here to, let you have something just to take it all back because it's its own creation. And now time is saying, or not time, but Shakespeare is saying, well, despite the fact that time is doing all these things, and yet to times in hope my verse shall stand, praising thy worth despite his cruel hand. It's the every poet saying of, well, I'm going to take your beauty, I'm going to put it into words, so that no matter what time does, even if you're long gone, it's going to live on in my words. And so it's just a different idea. So it's kind of three different ideas that are going into, which is why I think that's a second volta. And I chose this poem because as I was reading it for the first time, the time part where it's personified actually really caught my eye. At first I read it as, oh, well, it's the process of aging. And I was like, oh, I could do something really cool with that when I'm recording it. But then I was also looking at it and I was like, this is a time that is in control of everything. And, I kind of just thought, well, that would be a really interesting thought where it's time that's letting us do all these things. And it's not just that, we go about our day-to-day life, but it's, this thing that's greater than us. I also really liked the part in the beginning about the as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, because I used to have a creek in my backyard. When I was really little, I would go play in it every single day, and that was really fun. So it just reminded me of that. So that is my poem, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed recording it and analyzing it. It's definitely one of my favorite things to do with literature. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and I look forward to looking at everybody else's presentations, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. All right.